Welcome to the lovely IHP community, 5D mystic, spiritual, mindful living, loving people who enjoy putting mindset into practice. And that is if you're a new human being at IHP, we have free and paid subscriber community members. Finally, it's all rolling. And this last week of June, I'm pretty sure was a interesting one because we have some themes as I get to be the 5D Mystic Mentor, content creator, podcast host who can tell you all about living and loving with the body in connection, because I got a ventral vagal state and also have an inner adult, so I live in the present, and that's why the skill of mindset, and that's why the skill of emotional resiliency. That's why the skill of it's not about willpower, it's that your body and you are friends. So your nervous system and your mind and you are friends, so your brain. That's why people choose to become a paid subscriber. It's in the link below. We have 3-minute, 5-minute, and 15-minute inner growth mindset exercises, practices. The 3 types of content are exercises, practices. Then we have readings. So Tara, I have some plans for that one. And that doesn't mean we don't have any more free content. Don't worry. It means that we have that which you can integrate in your day-to-day routine, because creatures of habit are what we all are. So in 3 minutes, you get some food for thought on how to use your thoughts and emotions. And that's because, again, you're self-aware, accountable, regulating. So you don't have a challenge with mindfulness practices. You have maybe some things that come up, but you easily will be able to see them, soothe them, because you know how to say, hey, neuroception, we're safe. And that's very important, okay? And that's why our third type of content are spotlight episodes. So I get to share with you, not only as we usually do, really great podcasts, and that's of smart people, and then we get to make fun of the pseudo intellectuals, but also I get to share with you what they're sharing, some of it, and then we get to continue with the inner growth mindset. So become a paid subscriber. You help me stay here and create more content. As for our reading and themes, it's with food for thought, because as a 5D mystic in the Enlightenment Soul Age group, I know that you all have a covenant, communion. All people have a relationship with God, source, Akash, divine, divinity. Use all of it. Spirituality, religion, it's all in here, except for the ones who are cold as ice, basically the body's in protection. And that's something that they also, this past week, were able to make a conscious choice to be a person, and or whatever words they want to use. Inner children who need Patrick Tiahan are very much unaware of their child parts. So we will forgive, as Jesus taught me, all of those of our lovely emotionally immature and lack of functional inner child adult people out there. And we won't be making it our mission to say, you're mean. Because we'll say that to somebody who we know. They can say, well, are they really mean? And you can say, well, they are mean, but they're not mean. And that's why we're functional inner child adults. Give me a minute. And in fact, there have been, hold on, some ascension energies for the throat chakra, which brings me to why I'm pseudoscience woo lady, because we all know scientists will say synchronicities is meaning nothing. You know what? I know about how the brain works, and that scientist man or woman or whoever it was that said there's like a whole way, it's an economy thing. When you hone in the eye on one thing, you're going to keep finding it. So we all know how science works, because we're pseudoscience, we're not student intellectuals. Okay, so science proves a lot of shit. Yeah, in amazing ways. In spirituality, we bring in more. I just was watching someone talk about water. This is really fascinating. So when you integrate spiritual, science, all of it, that's why people love coming here. I'm the human dictionary. So humanity consistently evolves. In fact, consciousness is what we look at, and how amazing it is to just be Maria. For Maria, of course, not for you. You get to use your name. Okay, so the 3, again, inner growth mindset, paid type of content. As I said, exercises, personal development, and it's me walking you through something. It's not like you have to be writing down, because creatures of habit. So it means you listen, but like I said, your body's in connection. Otherwise, this is not where you want to start. Where you want to start is that you're able to notice, oh, I got angry, oh, I got sad, oh, I got afraid. Those 3 main subcortical areas. Thanks, Dr. Daniel Siegel. I'm attachment trauma informed. Okay, so that's why in this past week, every human being on the face of this planet, I'm sharing food for thought, but I am a mystic who is in a relationship with God, source, Akash, Anima Mundi, you name it. And I know sciences, and sciences will again say we're bullshit, and it's fine. We're okay with that. Thanks, Sam Harris. I love that you make it really easy for me to let people know how grounded in reality I am. I love you, God. Any of my cherishable beliefs can be falsifiable. I don't need to prove God, and I don't need to prove spirituality, and the ones who are still trying don't know that science and spirituality are being offered in school with the word consciousness. What makes a spiritual person laugh is that science, the scientist ones, meaning the technical ones, they just always brush off every single bit of insights that we get from spirit. So they miss out because we get the best of all worlds. And that's why infinity and beyond, that's what you get, into the unknown. We're not afraid, Elsa. No siren out there. Please stop talking about your brothers and sisters like they're competing with you. Are you a teenager by any chance? So when people are not their inner adults, functional child adults, they actually continue to act like the teenagers I met when I was a teenager. So I'm not surprised that we got a bunch of shit going on. Okay, so as I said, paid subscription availability down below. If you're watching me, if you're hearing me, it's on the IHP main podcast page. Oh, and update, we will be integrating with paid Patreon. So Spotify, you will get video, Spotify for creators. Other podcast platform, you won't. Patreon, if it's a way that you prefer navigating the online world. And I might be considering something else too, because my podcast area allows to work with other platforms. So I'll keep you posted on that, and you can always email me. And for one-to-one mentorship, you can email me. I am a very serious mentor, content creator, consultant. You use all the words you want. Personally, if you want to grow emotionally resilient and deeply connected to yourself, awesome. 12-month commitment minimum, because really creature of habit, and we can talk about stuff like that. But my point is, I'm not one that ignores the fact that even to this day, my exercises, the reason I know them is because I committed to them for about a couple years and more, and then I am still sloppy with them, but I will never forget them because I know them like the back of my hand. Okay, but like I said, do you know your nervous system? So if you don't have a good relationship with all those emotions, anger, fear, and sadness, and when I say you have awareness and depth, I'm saying, can you handle if somebody, oh, there you go, and if that's not what happens, because physically you'd be like, fuck you, dude. No, I don't curse in people's face, actually. But when I was a kid, I was trying to go into water. No, I was swimming, and there was some human being who kept thinking it was funny to dunk me. And the first time they did it, and I then started to get scared. So I rule with fear. The second time, I'm just freaking out, and I'm short of breath, and they're laughing, and I'm not. And the third time, I'm freaking out again, and that's the last time, because I'm not an idiot. You are really unnecessarily finding it humorous, and people are like, oh, that's because you take it seriously. I'm like, I don't really give a shit about what you're commenting. I'm not enjoying myself. I'm afraid right now, and it doesn't make swimming fun. It doesn't make it fun. I'm not going to call you a bully. I don't have to call you anything. You have plenty of people have this weird sense of humor. Don't ask me about it, because I find it ridiculous when I see grown men, women, and days doing shit that I will not say, wow, I'm so enamored with what I'm seeing. No, I'm really containing myself to say, what the fuck is this? And I'm going to leave it alone. So when I think of composure, while I may curse and an old person will think that's vulgar, I'm thinking of the minute you begin to get of a certain age and you find certain things ridiculously funny, I'm just going to have to say, that's your child part, I see. I have to allow myself to laugh. So, again, I am serious. I'm a perfectionist, a moral perfectionist. I just grew up. That's one of my personality pattern enneagrams. So, Maria's still the same exact person she was when she was a kid. That's why I'm in the food for thought readings, because the ones who say they're not, they all are, and that's the point. So if you are a mystic and spiritual, you have your own relationship with God, Akash, source. So we'll keep talking about that. That's why I accompany spiritual growth with personal growth for those of you who are in our spirituality community. And in the future, besides the one-to-one mentorship, we're going to have workshops and retreats, but they're very different than what I see my 4D, 3D brothers and sisters doing. Okay, so again, it's not a competition, but not everyone cares to get neuroception in the forefront. They, in fact, completely ignore it. They completely, between therapists and mystics, I mean, I don't even know which one I want to point out. No, all of them. They all disregard Patrick Tian and Terry Real and Basil Vanderkolk and Pat Ogden. And I have a list of names, and the minute I'm noticing that they're in a fight response, I'm like, your body's withering away, there's no Ursula dungeon, but you better bet that's what I'm seeing right now. Poor unfortunate souls. Who's the pact? You didn't make a pact with anyone. You simply disregarded that every time you wake up. You're not growing more humorous. You're growing more lethargic and thinking if someone's going to kick you in the ass, no, fuck you over. That isn't healthy. That's dark sides of neuroception, and your body, obviously, that's the dark sides of neuroplasticity, and your neuroception is definitely at play because your first year of life was unsafe, your second, your third, the womb, I have no idea. All I know is my free responses all came out. I'm totally cool with it, and that's why light body, rainbow body, yeah, you name it. I remember I'm like, okay, I need help. Guess who came around? Oh, I love you, man. Sadhguru. Sadhguru came around, meaning I got him in my feet. I'm like, this is very interesting. I got to take the inner engineering program, the yoga of grace, and I was like, wow, what's up with the yoga? I mean, yes, I feel more deeply, but I mean, so yoga is a portfolio of ventral vagal toning exercises. Mindfulness and meditation support integration. So when people don't have depth, they actually feel the stars. I want to stay in the stars. I'm like, no, please don't stay in the stars. It's not, no, that's pseudo-liveness. It's pseudo-liveness on a screen. You need a therapist. And I can't tell them that. I'm letting you all know when I see it. I'm like, wow, El Dorado, you really think mental warfare exists? So you better bet, nah. When someone was in my sphere, I'm like, wow, really? Get the fuck away from me. What do you think you're going to extrapolate? Like, so this is why 5D Mystic is way more fun. And we can also move to other frequencies, but 5D is because Christ consciousness, my lovely Jesus. He's not mine, obviously. Okay, so a list in an organized way of our main themes. That's why you become a paid subscriber if you want. We have had a lot of those sample piece of content, and so you have some that were not distributed, and then you have some that were. And moving forward, all of the content will not be the paid distributed anymore. You got samples, then you get to know me, and at the end of the day, obviously it's when it brings benefit and value, which you'll know all about. My benefit and value is letting you know that I'm a serious person. So if your body ain't in connection, well, I already know where you're going to head, and it's okay because I'm not looking for this. I don't actually have a question of what it means to be yourself. I got attachment trauma informed on purpose because spiritual, self-help, personal development. I mean, really, if you're not using your mindset and your emotions, I'm not really sure what you think you're doing. And I don't feel changed because I'm Maria. That's because I don't have insecurity. And I'm a functional child adult because at 3 years of age, I said, you can't spank me. It's my body. And that's why I'm also pro-choice, yes. And I can have very beautiful intellectual conversations with people who are of completely opposing political, religious, and everything views. Why? Because empowered feminine and empowered masculine. People who are empowered of either or are basically self-agents who know that we're going to build a society of fair and just, emotionally mature human beings, and that our emotionally immature brothers and sisters, well, you know how to handle a 16-year-old who has a 3-year-old who has a broken heart, who has a 1-year-old who's freaking out, and it's basically called repetition. That's it. This is the only thing. They spiral down in hell in their brain. They are in hell in their body. They don't want to get rid of their karma and their soul. Well, the soul is the same for all of us, but they really don't know any better because they think they're special and anointed and the only 144,000 special chosen ones. So whenever you notice, I'm laughing because chosen, it's so disrespectful towards all my brothers and sisters. So one God, one source, one Akash, one everything. We're all a part of it. And if you want to, again, from science land, people, again, woo-woo's fine, but I'm in the spiritual hat of Maria, mystic, and so I'm my own beloved, and so are you. You're your own medicine wheel, and so am I, because neuroception, if you don't know how to tame your body, no, it's not taming it. Tame the wind. You tame the thoughts. And you understand there's no sacrifice in life. This bullshit word. There's always karmic balancing at hand. So if you, lightning strikes, understand how your brain and body work together, they're all over YouTube. They're all over YouTube. You learn the flow state. Here we're dealing with unknowns, uncertainties, unexpecteds from within you with an open heart while going with the flow. So I know how to be in the flow, which is where neuroscientists explain what it is. Selflessness, timelessness, at effortlessness, they say the body's wondering where the fuck you are and begins to freak out. And I remember that. And then richness. And I remember the richness because the richness came after. And then I remember learning about how our energy body expands. And as a channeler and downloader, I'm understanding what's happening, besides the fact that I have introception, so all the brain stuff. Okay, so the sorcerer is you having ownership with your subconscious. And I get teased that I'm a witch. I ain't a witch. If there's one of my lifetimes, is for sure this. And it's unfortunate they give the sorcerer like this really, really not positive messaging. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's right, because 4D don't go take care of their trauma stuff. So anytime they're picking up on a low frequency of fear, they think some monsters out there. And it's unfortunate because neuroscientist Patrick McNamara explains how our human species evolves. It's called decentralizing of the self, but also there's a fear receptor that in your brain goes wonky. And if you don't tend to it, and there's nightmare after nightmare, and the monster eats you. No, really, it's not that, and it's not funny. So when I see the people who read the low frequency, whether they're shamans, whatever they are, I'm like, yeah, 5D body type, don't experience any of what you experience in a low frequency like that. So making the sorcerer out to be someone who is, however it was the wording, it's because that's how they will have perceived their body, sensations, images, behaviors, affects, meanings. Sensations. My body isn't afraid of anything around me, but I am a person who grew up with God, Jesus, Holy Spirit. And so mysticism isn't something that I was born with. I was born with faith. I still have faith. It's unfortunate that decentralizing of the self isn't taken more seriously, since the whole self is how you access the soul, and you don't spiral down in hell when someone gives you the cold shoulder. No, in fact, you know exactly what you're doing every step of the way with your oversoul, which is why, as we discussed, I was in the desert, and I'm sharing my stories to help you understand what a 5D mystic can tell you. I'm in the desert. I'm trying to let go of a human being's hand and to head on over with all these smiles in my face. Hey, I'm going to go that way. I'm leaving. Have fun in the desert. I don't want to be in the desert. You know, I don't like to be out in the desert. I want people. I walk with the people like Jesus taught me. I like to be around all people. I'm okay. I'm not afraid of anyone. They're not scary monsters. They're just children like I am. And when they pretend to be mean assholes, they're pretending with the wrong person. So mastering your mind means you have and enjoy your body in connection, VBS, ventral vagal state, otherwise IHP content. You'll be humored by it. I'll be very happy that you're humored. You won't get anything out of the mindset, because really it's, I don't want that. It's bullshit. No, not really. You just don't want to do the emotional resiliency. So self-agents, we grow love, pursue growth, and we expand consistently because we have a whole self. I own the sense of self. Thank you, Dr. Anna Siegel. I'm a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old, a 5-year-old, all my child parts. I'm proud of my 8-year-old, my 80-year-old, you name it. In fact, the only thing my child parts would have wanted, knowledge, Maria. Why did we not have all those intellectually amazing people around us? They weren't all available. They're busy doing research like Stephen Porges is. So I want to hang out with the smart ones. The expanding ones. The pseudo-intellectuals I love to spot because they got golden nuggets, and then I can make fun of them, and then I can watch as the ones who think they know shit go and hang out with them, and then I get to keep having fun with you. And I'm the same annoying teenager. Touch me. Watch me go rat you out. No, don't touch me. So basically, my physical safety is my priority. As I said, fear. It dominates. I will actively get up and leave if I'm physically unsafe. As for the rest, excuse me, confusing science spirituality. No, I bring them together on my podcast. I'm a mystic. I'm a Reiki master. I'm an Akashic record reader. I'm an intuitive. No, because I'm a mystic too. My men friends say that I say things wrong. Let me try again. This is what I do, blah, 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 and quantum physics and science. No. And I get show and tell. There's your 3-year-old. It reminds me of one of my courses with Bezo Vanderkork as he's sharing. It's the borderline personality one. Yes. Or dissociation disorder. But he's sharing what happens when a 3-year-old imagine, hey, mommy, daddy, and you're ignoring, or you're in a unfortunate, as your nervous system is in dorsal shutdown. That child not only doesn't have the opportunity to get a ventral vagal hit because you're not in it, but mommy, daddy. Your brain doesn't develop certain areas. So when people want to talk about monsters, they can go and head on over with the man who says lack of imagination for evil, because they just might as well hang out all together. Okay, so I'm a hand, and I will bridge that which is something for someone, and so will you. That's why our brothers and sisters, the ones who chose not to be a bridge in this past week, it's fine. They continue to follow their fake idols, quote unquote. They're not fake. They're adaptive child part people. Their rigidity shows through every single one of their pores, and you better bet that emotionally immature people, they're not mean. They're just insensitive, insecure, and human beings who don't know how to access the solo self, the core, the narrative, the relational. They're not a sense of self that's whole, and it's okay. They're their teenage version, so they are very committed to their... I remember being Maria as a teenager. That's why people say, you changed? No, I didn't. I just learned to become flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable, because anyone, black and white thinking, really? You got to 20 and you're still doing it? 21 still? Excuse me, 25. Why are you fucking and miserable? You don't have to fuck. I don't understand what you're doing. Okay, so again, self-agents, we grow, love, pursue growth, and expand consistently because we have the whole self in a space of love, neutrality, and the virtue. Yes, it's that muscle. Ethics, muscle, integrity. Yep, with flaws. What do you want? What, you think I'm perfect? I'm imperfect. What are you doing? The reason people don't like the confident stare is because we are confident for a reason. It's I am accepting that I can be crooked to you, but I don't give a shit about the way you're looking at me right now. Especially because the people who have self-acceptance don't look at anyone with eyes of let me judge you good or bad. Because again, that's simply put. I met him as a kid. I'm vulnerable still to this day. Vulnerability doesn't mean I'm in a fetal position and helpless. It means I'm empowered and in a fetal position if I want to be. I won't be. But my point is, and I'm laughing because people will not want to cry with their lover. And then they want to say, it's what lover is it? You don't want to cry with me? What? So that's not a good sign. You got a key that's broken or you're really holding back. I can get it. You feel helpless. We all can feel helpless. And that fetal position, our ancestors didn't want it because of the bear. So bear's going to eat you out in nature. Go hug a tree. Go have fun in the desert. I'm not going to be there because I'm a people. I'm a people. I want to be with people. We can respect nature while not having to hug trees, by the way. So integrity with flaws and differences. So emotionally mature people, they have been able to close something up. Doesn't mean no cutting of cords. Nope. We build societies, again, that are fair and just with emotional maturity. We know how to live a life in a state of physiological compassion because you're using your prefrontal. This is why the inner adult is in the present and your inner child is tended to by you, which is why we're functional child adults and you enjoy putting into practice the inner growth mindset, skill set, whether it's the exercises, whether it's with the readings and tarot, which again, I have some more plans, but I will roll out in the time with the content and explain it to you. And the spotlight, which is going to be probably one of my favorites as well, because of being able to spotlight amazing people and amazing podcasts. And I mean, again, we all have amazing to offer, even the golden nuggets. I'm not spotlighting them because I'm making fun of them, but I will share the golden nuggets, although they seem to always have an agenda. And so that means they have a bias that they're leading with, which means they think they know everything and they think that their side is right. And usually that's why they're actually going to be missing a component, which a moral perfectionist who wants to get it perfect, like, oh, there's the missing piece, which is why I'm an annoying teenager to those who are still teenagers. I'm just not annoying to me because I'm not trying to tell you that I'm right or wrong. I just filled in a gap of something you were missing. And then, oh, stupid? Sure. Yeah, I'm stupid. I mean, I can't accept differences. I don't understand. You're not grounded in reality, are you? You think all of your cherishable beliefs are not falsified. That's fine with me. I mean, the ego is blind after all, the brilliant destructive mode. So when I hear somebody doing this, it's like you're not in inner stillness. You're not in intelligence. You definitely have no emotional mastery, let alone mental mastery. And your teenager just came out of the woodwork and you're not a teenager anymore and you're grown up and you should know. You could know. 97% of what is out there is unavailable for all scientists to look into. So mystic or scientist, we don't know everything. Thanks, Dr. Daniel Siegel. And therefore, who's ignorant now? Me, that is aware that you don't know everything and you're sitting in a bunch of information, 10, 20 books from yesterday's news. You're wanting to tell me you know for a fact? Yeah, no. People don't like the facts. No. People don't like to hear the unknown. And then they don't like to understand that you don't have all the pieces of the puzzle of tomorrow. So those people don't have faith in God. Those are the same people who think Lucifer, one, is still around, that evil could ever remotely win. They don't understand that love and fear as frequencies coexist, and they also don't understand this thing of every person consistently will have spiritual self-help, personal development, and growth, free will to choose. Robert Sapolsky says they don't, and I can completely fit the bill of what he's speaking about, because you can better bet I know all about Maria's body. And so again, my body's always with me. You do that, I'm going to react with fear, and then I'm going to process it with tears and sadness, and I'm going to allow myself to be safe and have a good time, because I'm really just allowing my body to not harbor any of bullshit, non-metabolized crap. Because what vulnerability, again, it's not helplessness. The skill of mind is basically I have emotions, and you create depth with yourself. And I laugh again because there are a bunch of people who don't do it, because while they're upset, what they're doing is inner outer critic, and they're using words that are bullshit, and they're using cliche sentences that are also bullshit. So it's not just the spiritual bypassers, no, the savior complex people, codependent, the ones who consistently think it's unfair, or I gave this or I gave that. So the capacity for you to be your own person means your 0-1-year-old is tended by you, your 3 to 7, all the child parts, which is why you're then in your present, and you're going to be able to be in that. So when we meet emotionally immature people, mystic doesn't matter, we know they're not choosing consciously because their neuroception is on, and their body's like this, and their left mode is what's working, and their right mode, whatever child part wants to come out is going to come out. So we just know how to adapt to child part people. And we accept that they are not going to move into the love frequency, but that they continue to navigate the fear frequency of a body in protection with an inner child that needs a good therapist, such as Patrick Tian or Terry, to become inner adults. Our fear will not go anywhere. We still have bears, nature, we still have danger. And so with that, we're going to continue with our messages to see what the lovely tarot has for us. God, thank you, God, high five, Akash, source, infinity, anima mundi, and beyond, and myself, because I'm a part of the equation. So while I know a bunch of other readers do things differently, no, I am a mystic who is a mentor, content creator, podcast host, who's living the subjective experience of the body in connection. So bringing to you examples, stories, as you know, ideas and practices all in. And that's because I also know you have your own relationship. And so with that, when I organize the guidance part, that's what's going to go in the paid subscriber, and that will be curated for, steps of guidance and repeating a theme and whatnot. And so I know exactly what themes we're going through. Like I said, last week, something, someone, whatever it was. And so I'm going to pause for a minute, grab a couple notes, and I'll be back. So we're going to start with, if you are someone who wants to harness your mindset in the way you've understood, and you enjoy readings and exercises in the spotlights, become a paid subscriber. Again, if you're on YouTube, you find the link below. And if you're listening to me, you'll find it on the homepage of the YouTube channel, Spotify, wherever it is. So you don't spiral in a way that is of helplessness. If you're a person who was resonating with what we were discussing just about when I decided to hit pause. Okay, so you have the desire of developing the internal mindset that leads you to grow and that leads you to feel empowered. Even in moments where you're helpless, empowerment from the mind to the heart, because your body is in connection though, okay? So this is very important as you create more integration, because you have the solo self, narrative, core, relational self, all one. Thank you, Dr. Daniel Siegel. Again, IPNB framework and PDP framework are what he brought to me, and more than just that, the attachment. So secure, attached, non-traumatized people. We contain and explore our sensations, images, behaviors, affects, meanings, and we do that because we're self-agents, we're self-aware, accountable, and regulating. With enough attention, just about anything can be mastered. Thank you, Sadhguru. And our self-mastery involves our mental, emotional, and physical. And that's, as an Akashic record reader, 3 planes you will master. So in time, you get more integrated because you are, again, not ignoring, you're having your body release in a healthy way that which was stressful or whatever it was. Again, fear, sadness, anger, and there's fear is certainty, and then there's anger, self-agency, and bonding is sadness in the heart. Cerebral fear, heart, sadness, and bonding, and anger is the gut. So I need to actually, in the future though, not now. This is a side note. Okay, back to us. Here's Sadhguru. When you have utter clarity about where you are at right now, the next level of experience will reveal itself to you. That's where you're at. Okay, so new moon, whatever was basically made, you got to become aware of it. And then how dedicated we are to the basic choices that we have made in our lives is how our lives unfold. If you're doing Dharma, you're in the present. If you're doing karma, you're living out your unfinished business. And this is why those 3D, 4D brothers and sisters, they had a choice to make too. Again, it's not a competition. It's a simple matter of the way I'm going to bring it to you. Low frequency, adaptive child part, somebody who thinks they're right all the time and doesn't matter. They don't really care about how they are interacting with another. So they're not caring about bringing forth compassion. Because if they cared about compassion, then they would remember that we're all mental, emotional, physical beings, and that reactivity is part of it. That's what makes a difference between an emotionally mature person versus one who's not one. That is emotionally mature. Because the minute that I and you can have an exchange, as Michael Yapko points out, effective interactions when splinters, ruptures are happening, and or where we're not attuning and resonating. We're attuning, we're not resonating, as our lovely Dr. Daniel Siegel. So when I'm present, it's in my prefrontal cortex. My nervous system attunes to yours. When we begin to exchange with words, now we're either going to resonate and flow, and that moves us into trust and expand, or we're going to find that we're not resonating. Because I'm emotionally aware of Maria, mature, and myself agent, and also a person who's chosen to conduct myself with a level of mastery. Yes, I want to be the person that is not reactive. There's no need for me to be reactive. Okay, so the part about being open-hearted and the gut and all of it, others will not do the same, but I don't spiral down and get rigid or harsh. My soul stays active, my mind stays active, and that's why I don't get reactive. And you practice that. That's the moment of truth where your voice may sound like that of a crow to a person who is not aligned with the rainbow. Okay, so they have a very uninterested interaction at the level of the heart. And that's why those masculines are very boring. They're not empowered. When they're empowered, they have the mind and the heart engaged, and they remember, as our lovely words Gary V, he had a beautiful share. Compassion, kindness, empathy, he says. The soft skills are actually the hard skills in business. So people who know how to bring forth compassion, kindness, empathy. The physiological state of compassion, because empathy would mean that you're actually not able to master your own nervous system and be a body in connection. Body in connection knows as I'm interacting with you, when we're not resonating, because I can self-regulate, I'm already moving my nervous system back to it's fine, it's easy, just don't, there's no need. Okay? And so that's the practice you get to have with your lovely brothers and sisters out there, is differentiation is what it's called. You don't do this is somebody shared it. You will always notice that the adaptive child part person, when they get, they will talk about betrayal as a one and done deal versus we are different. We can have moments where we're going to have splinters, ruptures, and really misalignment. No, it's just not alignment completely. And that doesn't change relationships. It allows you to know which bonds resonate more with you at the level of the heart. If you're leading from the heart, people like Gary V resonate with me. And then there's people like pseudo-intellectuals who don't at all, because they're not here, they're in their gut. But I still hear them, and I'm able to appreciate their golden nuggets. Fake has become so normal that people get offended by honesty. When you hear this, it sounds like a little teenager to me, because that's an adaptive child who's creating a little group. Fake, and this is not the only time I've heard somebody talk about fakeness like this, that people follow what's fake, but they really want genuine. Okay, so this fake, anyone who is not yet their own inner adult is going to have an emotional, immature moment where they're going to become a 16-year-old version of themselves, basically, again, black and white. And they use that, and that's where they will not integrate further, but they will just do another karma wheel. And so they will have had a situation take place where they got the opportunity to expand beyond what they are used to. And if they did, that's great, because that's the part. It's not something you will see per se materialize, but it's something you'll definitely feel as you are expanding the voice of yourself, and you're aligned with our 5D frequency. So societal culture changes. Those of us who bring forth fair and just can only do so with compassion. Those who, though, maintain the rigid stance of yesterday's news, there's a way that consciousness, again, consistently expands and evolves. It's with opposites. No one sacrifices anything, though. So the witnesses, we're on a journey of the lower world, but it's not leading us without our participation. We are beating to our own drum as masters of time because we are actually able to sit still within ourselves, and that's your body in connection and your mind with self-awareness, accountability. I'm going to regulate, and I will speak with the staff of truth, which is authority, which is a frequency of kind firmness, with the heart open. Forgive them, for they do not know. Blessed are those who believe without seeing. Turn the other cheek. And there's a lot more. The kingdom of God is within you. So resiliency in the emotional depth of you and mental depth and physical, the way I'm talking, it's called restorative embodiment. That's your self-awareness, accountability, regulation that you choose to pursue as paid subscribers again, because we do more of the inner growth mindset. So you grow like a lovely piece of corn. Oh, and you do definitely navigate the water. The plane of your emotional sphere is amazing when your inner child and you are friends, okay? Because you're not hiding your vulnerability. You're not hiding. I don't hide if I get afraid, if I get mad, if I get sad, okay? So you just understand that some people live life from the depth of their emotional plane with a functional child adult, others don't, and that's when you meet a facade, and that's the dance of the ghost. And so we will perceive all fake people, and that's because my facade friend taught me what they do. The same that every person who doesn't go and get their inner child reparented and then go to Tier Real to become a person who can maintain relational relationships, knowing that none of our relationships are going to be objective. It always involves subjective. So when you care about deepening your relationships, business, personal, all of it from the heart, you don't take heart away. You actually understand heart, and then you understand that we are emotional beings with a mind and therefore with a mouth. So the completion, again, for those who have expanded in this past week, is that you're no longer a trickster of yourself. You're no longer a person who's a trickster with others. So you can be a keen coyote with Dharma. And there's our earth keepers, who are also the rainmakers. And we have channeled guidance out there. I will maybe read it again, even though I don't know if I'll do it here because it's already at 30 minutes. Okay, so the rainmaker with the wisdom of the owl, and moving forth from here to knowing that you don't have to give up anything, but that the standing still within you is where others think that that means you're going to allow someone to disrespect you. Instead, what it means is that you have mastery of your mental, emotional, physical plane and want to be in a physiological state of compassion. And so again, it's about becoming more of your restorative embodiment, because there's no need for agitation to continue. And you're having fun to do this emotional, mental, and physical skill. Mastery is a muscle you're working out. Integration is that. That's why mindfulness, meditation, again, yoga, they all bring you ventral vagal state, portfolio toning exercises, integration more of the brain, and the capacity to be able to speak in a way that those who are rigid don't like. But they won't do anything about it either, which is not something, it's a big deal. So it means I got betrayed, or I, got a whammy, whatever it is, right? So you get the experience of something unexpected, unwanted, uncertain. Those main modules of the Inner Growth Program, the Inner Growth Mindset Program, they're on the website, inspiringhumanpotential.com. And so you deal from within with an open heart, you know yourself, and you go with the flow. And so you understand, and also if you're of faith with God, you already know that you're not getting tested. You're actually being brought forth exactly what will take you to continue, one, being at home in yourself. So again, body and connection. And in case you didn't tune into any of the episodes prior, let me highlight and or spotlight the Biology of Trauma podcast with Dr. Amy. Her video, Neuroception Explained, how your nervous system decides what's safe and why it matters for healing. And she shares, neuroception is what determines our response to everything in any moment of our life. It is not based on reality, it is based on one's perception. Dr. Amy. And she says it's not willpower or motivation, it's the body's security system constantly asking one question. Am I safe right now, or am I in danger? And what I got and get to share is that once you know, like I know mine, my patterns, fear, sadness, anger, okay? So certainty, bonding, and self-agency. I dominate with fear and self-agency. The bonding is pretty straightforward. And so resonating doesn't have to happen for trust to continue to expand for those of us who are functional inner child adults, because this is what, thank you, Patrick Tiahan, as he shares, the inner adult is the expert on the present. The inner child is the expert on the past. When you have an inner adult that's an expert, they will know how a boss or a mother or father or a sister, brother, anyone is just a person in our life, not the ultimate authority of who you are. Also, it's safe now to take more risks and handle such risks, like asking for better intimacy with people. And asking doesn't mean you have to ask anyone, by the way. You'll simply understand if you're matching that or not, because the functional child adult will be able to share open-heartedly, open-mindedly, open all of it. And that's the moment of when you have I won't budge from my position in a way of there's no heart involved. It's very straightforward because you'll feel that you're not expanding. You're actually mediating in a very specific way the entire time because there's not resonance. And so resonating is when we're going to be happy and joyful and we are aligned, and this is the part of where we're all different. So personality patterns are something that I actually look to, even though they're not spot on, but they definitely have like-minded people, like-minded ways of expanding, becoming more of you and coming together. It's nice to be with a diverse group, and the ones who are compassionate bring all of those different facets together. Knowing that our triggers aren't correctly sized for the present, so that's the part of handling charges, handling something that comes up. And so while as a kid, the kid dunking me in the water, I'm like, fuck you, I didn't go into the water anymore. I can emotionally, mentally, and physically respond in a more mature way. Maybe not say anything at all. Maybe not even, not that that's going to happen again, but I'm trying to use an example of, you would notice that today you'd be doing something way differently than before. And that's why you're an inner adult. Asking questions, even if it causes anxiety. Handling life in an empowered way, which is accurate. So being able to speak up for yourself, always. And being able to share all of that which is crossing my mind and crossing my heart. And some people have a issue with it. That's because they're not their inner adult yet. When you are an inner child adult, means I am not ashamed of being able to ask a certain amount of questions. But I'm also participating with the awareness that if somebody begins to get uncomfortable, I'm not going to want that, because now I know that they have a lack of depth of awareness and mastery over themselves. And this is the part of why it's going to be clear when you have aware, accountable, regulating people, because they continue to want to move in an expanded biosphere together, and that's with the heart open, versus an indifferent interaction. And with indifference is basically different ways of thinking, not feeling. They're not in the interaction with feeling, because the minute that there's rigidity beginning to take place, it's one nervous system that's navigating another that is in a state of safety, and the state of safety is protectiveness. So I got an underactive insula, I don't got a prefrontal, I got a left brain that is in their own cognitive dissonance, in their own conviction, in their own I'm right, they're wrong. And there's your adaptive child part who doesn't learn new skills because they're not self-aware, accountable, and saying, let me regulate to be a human with my humanity in the forefront, because I have emotional, mental people around me, because that is what I am surrounded by, which is why, as Gary Vee points out, compassion, kindness, empathy, a soft skill that is a hard skill that you want to apply in business, which is also why emotional intelligence and mastery is one of the most amazing of experiences for people who care about being what is a true leader in general. And they will all know that either in one of two ways, either pretending or for real. So the inner adult knows who is safe and who isn't. Spot on, very much. That's why Safe Haven Secure Base, it's people who navigate their life with the body, wanting it in connection. So they have a window welcome to their stuff, and then they have a window welcome to you, and that's why they live spirituality, a life of meaning and connection beyond the soul self. Thank you, Dr. Daniel Siegel. Again, I won't be able to always reference all the people that I've learned a bunch of things from, but I will try. How to read people's emotions and intentions better. Yes, always. not from our childhood trauma narrative. And here's where the childhood trauma narrative, so for everybody, again, it's a different story. I don't consider myself a childhood trauma anything, but I have a trauma charge. My 3-year-old who still comes up with my mom, so obviously the experts would say you have it. I'm like, okay, you're gonna say what you want to say. I'm aware, accountable, I'm regulating, like I know how to handle myself and how to experience depth. So I really do, and you're not in my body, so that actually, to me, the self here differentiated. It's like, you have no right to use your words to tell me about me. That is a 3-year-old, isn't it? Okay, so but I don't have a narrative when my 3-year-old or 6, when they all any of my child parts come up. The narrative is simply put, I'm being emotionally Maria, and then I can walk a talk about it, okay, without hiding it. So you know where you're at, but the point is, when you're comfortable with being yourself, this is why you don't stand down with what you're feeling, you're thinking. It doesn't matter, whatever's coming up, I'm going to be able to continue the interaction because I'm not getting uncomfortable just because you're uncomfortable. And I won't be making you more uncomfortable. No, I'll recalibrate the minute I notice you're getting uncomfortable, because now I know I got a baby in the room. I got a 16-year-old with a 3-year-old with 1-year-old, and I don't got a self-regulator. This is the non-responsibility. Thank you, Gary Vee, as he points out, those who are not choosing to use a specific type of currency, but they use instead the currency of, what was it? Envy, jealousy, spite. So there's plenty of amazing quotes. He's enlightening by the day. I love that man. And I don't follow him always, but he has really great business advice, and he is contributing to his community and teaching them through his words. And if they are bodies in connection, they will learn through his words how to live a good life. And that's awesome. So the adult is an expert on knowing the inner child is active and in need. Yes, that's the part. So I don't call my emotions my inner child, but I can now relate to it that way. So I can say, if I want, you know what? Yeah, my 0-1-year-old, she wants a hug right now, but I don't actually do it always that way. However, the child parts live within us. So the inner child, as lovely Patrick Tian points out, is not an expert on things like our dating life. That would be disastrous, and often is. And he's talking about the inner child who's an expert on the past with childhood trauma. So the inner child, he says, is an expert on what it was like growing up, the emotional data from the family, how people in childhood made them feel unsafe, the attachments, so not secure attachment, how we decided, he says, to cope the way we do, surviving it, and why. So that's the body and, again, safety behavior. How we got our needs met or survived navigating toxic people, because people who have childhood trauma, they will have these types of relationships. What we believed about ourselves and others, believing the lies. So yeah, the distorted self. So fake people, they're perceived by anyone, but if you're not noticing the fake with the trauma education, and so understanding emotionally immature people don't consciously choose to be rigid and harsh and unforgiving. No, their adaptive child part could go to Terry Real or Patrick Tian. They don't, like, a minute isn't enough to be saluted, thinks he taught me a lesson in common courtesy. There's a random person I didn't speak to for 3 years, if you knew, you don't know the story. And on an evening where they're drunk and upset and moody, this is what they did. The entire evening I got to have a nice story to share, though. So, I mean, I was fine. I played the grown-up, meaning I'm not going to leave because this person has an issue tonight, you know, and as he's ending the evening, we'll become friends. And then, no, we won't become friends. Yes, we do frequent the same place. No, I won't be talking to you. Yes, I will be seeing you. No, I won't be interacting with you. Yes, you know, we'll see each other. So my body with my mouth, no, you're putting up barriers. No, I'm telling you how it is. Micro movements. So your mouth moves with your inner world. You don't hide anything, and your inner child is always with you and your emotion. And that's the part of why the minute that I'm not uncomfortable being Maria, but someone else is uncomfortable with what I'm bringing to the table, I'm emotionally, mentally, and physically not only aware, accountable, and regulating. I'm a master at being me. I'm also attachment trauma educated, and I won't waste time with anyone who's a Cusco, because it's a waste of my time, although God says, remind it since not, yeah. So he's trying to remind me that I learned to expand, which is true. I thank all my brothers and sisters, and that's why I will learn how to let you all know I don't spend time with facades, formalities, and a person who closes their heart off doesn't want a bond. They just want an object. I'm not an object. So I'm very much a person who believes in our capacity to be all that we can be. Again, you will have had whatever. So betrayal, that's why that word, I used it, but there's what betrayal? Who? The person in the desert that basically left my hand. No, they didn't leave my hand, because those who are actually individuals who don't know how to tend to their nervous system won't let go of that which can re-energize them when they're low. Emotionally immature people, like again Patrick Chan shares it about parents. It's not just parents that don't get their nervous system. No, it's also other people. They want love, not work. Yes, they want you to be able to consistently reassure them, and then they don't do anything, which actually, I mean, again, my facade friend taught me how to handle that with nothing. I don't tell anybody they're not being their self anymore. Because now I also know that the fake people are all around, again, not noticing that they're the same ones who continue this lovely little frequency. And it's not lovely, but it doesn't matter. The fear frequency doesn't need to be eliminated, nor would it, because we are still embodied in bodies that have, again, normal stuff happen out there. So when people understand fear is a part of what you have, because it helped us survive, humanly speaking, spiritually, again, soul is one frequency, and it's I use discerning equanimous love, like what God is. And oh, by the way, remember, tomorrow the book is getting published, The Ways to God, and so I need to share the launch party link if you guys, gals, days, want to join and ask all the authors questions. Although you haven't had an opportunity to read the book, but still, and any of you can actually pre-order it. So the struggling, self isn't you. It's a state you get into sometimes. It's a picture you have of yourself. Melanie Greenberg, PhD. So when people don't move into being happy with who they are from the entirety of yourself, they will continue to play out the unfinished business. And the unfinished business is needing tending, but if you don't tend to it, then you won't have it be metabolized. And so one more moment, because there was another quote that I know I was planning on bringing to you all. Let me pause us. The quote I can't find, but it's still something along the lines of you and I, we have a limited time. Okay, so limited time doesn't make people who are aware of that feel that they're older and have less energy, or feel like they need to do things that are actually ridiculously ridiculous. You treat your body well. So moderation, the lifestyle of those who are not mediocre, are lifestyles that keep, again, love, fear, we coexist. Emotionally mature people will be fine, because handling emotionally immature people is something that is always at hand. You do so with an open heart, not because you're better or worse. No, none of that. You're not superior or beneath. When I say handle, I'm saying that you're able to recalibrate your nervous system. You're able to bring yourself to a neutral stance. And this is the part of opening your heart, staying open-hearted with you and another. And so while you find a way to resonate with a lower frequency, it's not that they're in a dungeon somewhere. No, it's that they're an adaptive child part. So they're a person who's in a modulated embodiment, which is why you're going to be picking up the stiffness, okay? So you recalibrate in a way of, I'm staying in my ventral vagal state, open-hearted, in my prefrontal, I'm in the present as an inner adult, my inner child's good, and they're not the one participating in the conversation. I'm not presenting I'm afraid, I'm angry, I'm sad in a way that is of a child. No, I will be composed. I will be sharing in a safe space that which is the emotional depth that came forth. And actually, it's pretty straightforward. If you are still here, body and connection, you must have, because otherwise you might have already dropped off a long time ago. When your nervous system sends shit up, okay, it's not the time, it's okay, wait till later. And I've done that, as I was having a lovely human being who I love to death yell in my face. And see, this is where people think that people disrespect this person didn't choose their beginning, their origins. In fact, to this day, I consistently hope and pray and wonder their health. That's the one question I have, because if you have, as I know I do, a commitment, covenant, a marriage, a whatever the word is, there's a word I was using before, but I and God have a relationship. And as a channeler, downloader, and an empowered feminine, I know exactly who my oversoul is, and I know exactly when I'm being sent. I don't ask, I don't think. It's very organic. And in this case, I know exactly what the opportunity was and is, but I don't know the end. I don't know how the story's going because I can't ask, because I have no possibility. Because when you meet emotionally immature people, they lack self-awareness, accountability, and regulation. And if around them are more of that, which is ignorance, and more of they're not emotionally immature because they can't do something better, yeah, a little mommy, 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 here, here, here. The brain doesn't get stimulated in certain areas. They don't even know how to appreciate when somebody is appreciating who they are. It's something that will confuse the fuck out of that individual. This is not funny. So the hope for any one of those of us who understand that we're here to give opportunity to those who want to be, their kingdom of God is within you. You can't make a person want to heal their trauma and to become the best version of themselves. You can only understand that until recently we didn't have all this information, and now we have one of two groups: the ones who are trending topics and the ones who instead take care to get their body in a connection and know that neuroception is important. So the minute your body is your priority, it's also your thoughts, and so you'll come back again and be happy. The ones who need more help are the ones that I look forward to being there for, and then I know that the rest, though, is something that they have to choose. And if they don't, I won't be cutting them out of my life. I will be able to share with the emotionally immature person consistently my love and affection, because that doesn't change the bond. It doesn't change the relationship. What changes for those of us who are mentally, emotionally, physically mature, if you come with God, you already know nothing changes because you said yes to love, Jesus, Holy Spirit, or whatever other background you have. If you come with science, you will understand Peter Levine, Bessel van der Kolk, and every single one, Dr. Daniel Fox, Siegel, that tells you and explains, or as you know, they don't have a choice. Nobody chose to get into a body that has borderline personality, narcissism. And the ones who say that it's imagination that they can be healed, yeah, they lack the education. They make me laugh in my butthole because they completely lack also humanity. And then they say things like this: when you're unseen, it will erode your confidence. When someone will get the cold shoulder, they will spiral down. You obviously didn't notice that you are complete. I won't say it. So anybody whose confidence would erode because you don't see me doesn't own their child part nor their self-agency. You don't have to see what I'm feeling. You don't have to see what I'm thinking. You don't have to see any of it. I'm going to be able to stand right in front of you and be like, so thank you so much. It has been a pleasure. And you get up and you go. And as a child of God, again, to me, it's not me trying to pretend. No, I understand that I've been presented the opportunity to do. And here's where the moral perfectionist, in the description, it says they want to be seen as good and that we look to not break our self-image. I'm like, this ain't an image. And you might want to understand that there's not this good or bad for grown-ups, because really, I mean, it isn't enough to be saluted. I'm pretty sure he puts me in the bad box, and so do other people, because polyamory, I mean, come on. Who's a whore here? Oh, look, who doesn't know commitment, vows, integrity, virtue? Look. So again, when people come up with bullshit words to insult, who are you insulting? You only insult somebody who basically doesn't understand how to take ownership of who they've decided or who they've come to be or whatever. And again, words are very lightly used, meaning that sure, you want to keep them in stone, I don't. I'll use words however I want, and if I fuck it up and get lost in translation, well, I mean, I'm okay with that. This is what a functional child adult does. But of course, we like to also understand in circumstances, it's important to have people who can translate. When I have been in conversations where I didn't have backup, I'm completely lost. And I get chimed in later on, if only you had said you believed in prison. I'm like, we didn't talk about prison. I don't know what you're talking about. No, if you had said, okay. So these are friends that don't know how my brain works or hadn't noticed that I was not following this person. And so, yeah, it's fascinating, by the way, for the ones of you who are noticing different types of communication. Yeah, some people, it's not, they have deaf ears because they're already thinking over you. They've made assumptions. They began to draw conclusions. That's the adaptive child part. So they're no longer mindfully aware, mindfully listening, mindfully anything, and they're really not enjoying the interaction. And that's the part of neuroception. So they are the ones who could say, you know what, it's safe. Why am I getting all agitated? I can be calmed down. If someone points out to me, you're agitated, I'll look in. I'll say, no, I'm not. If I am, okay, I'm calming down. And so, with that being said, we have a lovely new beginning ahead of us after a new moon. We might have some more episodes later. In the meantime, you no longer, thanks to your inner growth mindset, spiral down in hell, and you've closed that karma wheel. Basically, you know all your child parts and your grown-up version. Okay, so your soul has been retrieved, meaning you, if you use the word soul, if you feel that you're part of that lovely spiritual community, you are spiritual anyways, but we won't impose it. So if you don't do the spiritual stuff, but you're still here at the reading because you perceive energies and you're perceiving that you're expanding, okay? So you do feel that there's more of you. More of you is what I'll say. You are part of consciousness as I am. So more of you is that you're embodying more of that which you are planning to bring forth from your thoughts to your emotions and the essence to your whole self. Dr. Daniel Siegel would call it the whole self. So you own the core, narrative, relational, solo self. In the maximum uncertainty, you're able, thoughts and emotions, to sit with yourself, awareness, accountability, regulate the body in a place of it's good to be us, we're safe. Then you explore. That's why the inner growth mindset, again, the paid subscription-based model content has the 3, 5, and 15-minute, and it's you listening, a little bit of ideas, stories, a little bit of what to do while you're thinking and feeling, and that way you can do it while you're driving, you can do it while you're working. It doesn't matter. Well, working maybe not, but you don't have to sit down and write. So it's contemplative for the most part because that's the mind that is with you consistently. And so by being aware now of the body, it's me reminding you also body and connection. Okay, you feeling at ease? If you're not, well, that's the first step. Get to ease state. Breathe. If that's hard, then you want EMDR, child parts work, somatics. You want to rework whatever that neuroception stuff is going on because that's your first step, is to get the window of tolerance to window welcome to your emotional plane. And then everything else will come. And that's why people, it's bullshit, self-help, personal development, and the spiritual growth people that think that you grow by losing people. No. Nobody loses anyone. The emotionally immature people may be annoying. That's why, though, again, God says, don't judge human suffering, a waste of your fucking time, Maria. And they're still your brothers and sisters. And there's your moral little perfectionist child. But really, it's not that. It's that as a child who knows that I have flaws and you have flaws, why would I ever say no to being friends? Why would I ever not be able to resonate with you? Like Michael Yapko points out, there's very little reason for why we would not want to be around other people unless they're like extremely toxic. But the part about that is they won't be around us. And really, if they become that, they become, unfortunately, members of society that won't be doing well within society, and they end up in prison. Or they end up becoming very much followed by people who follow 7 to 14. They're not charming. So we'll be back again with more love and fear. We continue to expand together, and that's not a bad thing because human evolution consistently has had differences, diversity, and as we have reached a new sweet spot, there are those of us who know, thank you, Sam Harris, all of our beliefs, the cherishable ones and not, can be falsifiable. We also know, thank you, Neil deGrasse, for sharing that the earth is round again. I'm sure the flat earthers found a way to disprove it for their own way of confirming that they make sense of themselves. 97% of what is out there is unavailable for all scientists and mystics to explore. Maybe mystics will say we can explore more, but the difference is this, is that we'll be able to say, yeah, you're a part of consciousness too. So how about we explore it all together? So mystics, spiritual, enlightenment, soul age group, those of us who are here in this time, we're like, we can all explore different corners and bring it to each other, which is what makes it fun. And nobody's saying, no, this is not true. No, this is not true. Nobody's talking about Lucifer anymore. In this way, we're all actually pretty clear on, okay, we know where our 3D, 4D brothers and sisters are going to be, far, far away from us. And they really will call us all the names possible. In the meantime, let's try and go vote and do things and talk to people with different political, religious, and all of it, and just talk, and then continue to create a just and fair society with compassion in the forefront, because compassion is discerning equanimous love like God is. That's the one thing the people who they don't understand. That is a red flag. Go check out your inner child, get a hold of it, become a real person, and then, and I mean a real person because you're being integrated, or you're going to become the person you're going to tell me is the real you, and I'm going to say, I love that you have a real you, and then on a karma wheel, no. on a wheelhouse, I'll get to repeat myself over and over and over again, and I'll get to continue to bring forth my healthy boundaries while we continue to coexist, which happens. So it's not my karma wheel, it's my dharma wheel, because Maria has a way that she will conduct her relationships and that I like to have fun or not. Okay, so here's where the dunking of the water, remember? Same thing goes. If I'm doing something and you're annoying me, I'm going to be stop annoying me. So we all have different types of relationships. That is why Manny, Diego, and Sid, just we get to be pachas, but that doesn't mean they see us as pachas. For all I know, we can be seen as Sid, Diego, Manny, Cusco's. Okay, that's the perception and subjective reality, and then those of us though who continue to grow together. So it's been a nice past week. I'm gonna say for me, I'm very, very happy to be here with all of you. Again, become a paid subscriber. It'll help your day-to-day mindset exercises, and it'll help me too, and it'll help us at IHP to continue building more of the community of the 5D collective, and also workshops, retreats. And what I wanted to say is, when you become a paid subscriber, if there is an idea that you have of a specific type of inner growth mindset exercise you would want, or a specific type of inner growth mindset reading, like you have a specific question that you would want to ask about personal development, spiritual growth. So it's not about, tell me tomorrow what's going to happen, okay? You would think about, and for Spotlight, if there's, you're curious about me spotlighting some podcast that you haven't been able to find yet, so you just want that. We also always have the Ask Maria opportunity, which would be, hey, I'm Dear Maria, like Dear Abby, I'm da-da-da. You tell me stuff, you keep that private, sensitive Deva private, and you say, could you give me your 2 cents, and you get specific on it. You want the mindset, you want the engaging social engagement, give me ideas of what you're looking to achieve with your inquire, besides food for thought, obviously. And those would be part of the paid subscription-based model content on Spotify for podcasters, or wherever you will tune in. Wherever else you'll tune in, there won't be a video. With the Spotify, there will be the video. And again, thanks for stopping by. Share the podcast with people that enjoy being their true self, and know that, any fake person is a teenage version of themselves. But if they don't want to go heal, they're going to stay their adaptive child part. And it's okay, because we know what happened to that Egyptian king with a rigid heart. Yeah, they don't get the kingdom of God in their body. And therefore they stay modulated and dysregulated. But they think they're badass, as they tell us how confidence can get eroded by somebody not seeing you. And it's like, wow. That's why I looked at the man who said, I'm going to do enough to be saluted, the second time I encountered them after. I got the whole thing, no, we won't become friends. And then I get to see them as they're with another friend of mine. And because of this, am I not decent enough? I'm like, I need to at least look at him. I need to acknowledge this is instinctive. You don't choose to be a person who has compassion in a way that's not from within you. And that's why for the ones who it's not instinctive, those masculines who become empowered feminines, they become empowered masculines because they're empowered feminines. They will notice, okay, I want to bring forth compassion, although I really would want to say, let me give you my 2 cents. So I'm an empowered feminine with my own empowered masculine, but I can tell you about my masculine's past journey and how I finally have closed out my masculines. Yesterday's news, Maria's soul. So moving from today, meaning 2025, whenever I don't want to die, but the future will be Dharma for Maria. Maria won't be anymore, but I will be back. Future. Yes, my future husband. I got to see and it's amazing that I got to share the story, and it was very sad to see other things. But again, that's for another time. Maybe we'll have some stories. It's been a pleasure to be here. Thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. It'll help the channel grow. And again, the paid subscription-based model content link is below in the description box on YouTube. And if you're hearing me and you're still here, then you already will have remembered. I said it 3 times? Apparently repetition is key. Believe me, it's an annoyance. No, it's not. It's understandable. I forget things too. So thanks again for stopping by.